Okay, friends, one of my favorite, all-time favorite little nibbles at a party is peel and eat shrimp, which is the Old Bay shrimp. Now this is a crowd pleaser. I don't know if you've been out at seafood restaurants and they bring you this big, beautiful bucket of wild-caught shrimp, the Old Bay peel and eat shrimp. They're just amazing. So what we're gonna do is we're going to make 2 pounds, and these are the Argentina red shrimp. And I like the wild-caught shrimp, so I got 2 pounds of shrimp. And they're gonna get gobbled up. So I'm gonna make a lot because everybody loves them. And once they get going with them, it's like, you know, people wanna have several. So I'm planning ahead for that. So because I'm doing 2 pounds, I'm gonna use 1 cup of water, and we use 1 cup of vinegar. And I know you guys are gonna be like, 1 cup of vinegar? Yes, 1 cup of vinegar. They don't taste vinegary. They do kind of smell, you know, when you're cooking them, it's like, wow, that's pretty pungent vinegar, but they're so delicious. Trust me on this one, okay? And then we're going to add 4 tablespoons of Old Bay seasoning. So I just go ahead, I don't bother, you know, pouring it out of the little shaker thing. I'm just gonna go right for it and I kind of go 4 good-sized tablespoons of Old Bay. So there's 1, 2, 3. Come on, come on. Up. 4. Now this has to come to a boil, and then we're gonna add our shrimp, okay? And the shrimp are only they're gonna cook for like 3 to 5 minutes. Super quick. You do not wanna overcook your shrimp because we don't want our shrimp to be tough. Okay, we're gonna get this going here. Take a couple minutes for that to boil and dump our shrimp in, and we're, you know, this is like really a 10-minute little deal here, and they're just so delicious. It's gonna be one of your favorites too, for sure. Our vinegar, water, and Old Bay seasoning are boiling now, so we're gonna go ahead and add our 2 pounds of shrimp. And these are gonna cook so quick, 3 to 5 minutes. We want them tender. We don't want to overcook them and have them be tough. So we're going to let them rock and roll here for a few minutes. And then we'll drain them, and then we'll refrigerate them until it's time to serve. Smells good. Really is one of it really is an all-time favorite for us. I make it all the time for people. And at first I had this, you know, feeling like, you know, what about, you know, people are using their fingers and it's shrimp. They don't care. They're so good. Now on one of the recipes that we're going to be making, I will, you know, take the tails off the shrimp and the shell. But for this, you guys, you have to cook it with the shell on, the tails and the shells on, because that's what really gives it its flavor. I've done it before and I've used shelled shrimp, and it just wasn't as good. So keep that in mind that you do need to use the, you know, tails and shells on. Okay? It takes a couple minutes for it to come back up to boil, but once it comes back up to boil, then what I do is I kind of keep an eye on it and then turn it down just to a slight simmer for a couple of minutes, and then it's done. Okay, so our shrimp has been cooking for about 3 minutes, and it's on a very slow boil, and that's exactly where I want it to be. I'm gonna let it cook for another probably 2 minutes or so, and these little sweethearts are done. Okay, sweet friends, these beauties have been at this low simmer for just about 5 minutes, and I think they're perfect. Now, when you get the Argentine red shrimp, it's kind of hard to tell when they're done versus a gray shrimp, because the gray shrimp are going to turn color, they're going to turn pink on you, where these are just going to get more of a vibrant pink. But just kind of go, you'll be able to smell them, and you'll just know like 5 minutes or so that they're done. So I'm going to take these off the flame, and you want to get them out of this hot water so they don't continue to cook. And I've got my colander here in the sink. So there you go. I'm gonna let them drain and cool for a few minutes, and then they're gonna go in the refrigerator until we serve them a little later at our party. Hey guys, I don't know about you, but every time a recipe calls for bacon, I would just like start to cringe, like, my whole house is gonna be a mess because of the bacon smell and the grease everywhere. But I no longer do my bacon in the house. I do my bacon on an old cookie sheet. Look at this. You can tell that I've done a lot of bacon on the grill. You just cover your cookie sheet with foil, makes cleanup a snap, and then just put your bacon on your cookie sheet, put your grill on high, let this rock and roll out there. It takes about, 10, 12 minutes, and you have the most perfect, crispy, delicious bacon with no mess inside the house, no grease to clean up, and it's just a winner. My daughter shared this with me a couple of years ago, and I was like, where have you been all my life? I needed this. So anyway, so for the recipe that we're using on our bruschetta board, we are doing a pear, fig, bacon, arugula, little nibble, and I needed the bacon for that. So I just wanted to share with you guys how I cook my bacon, and I'm just gonna go ahead now and take it out to the grill. All right, you guys, look at this. My bacon is off the grill. It is perfectly crispy and amazing. No mess in the house. And I'm gonna let this foil with the bacon drippings cool, and then you just wrap it up into a little pouch and then just put it in the garbage can. So there you go. No cleanup. It's just the most amazing little trick. Thank you, Amy, for that. Also, the recipe that we're going to be using with the bacon, it's a pear bacon bruschetta with arugula, and I am going to save a little bit of the bacon drippings for the pears. So yeah, just keep that in mind, okay? Okay, friends, what we're doing now is we're getting ready to make our pear bacon blue cheese arugula bruschetta. And what I have going here, melting in this pan, is a little bit of the bacon fat from the cookie sheet that we cooked our bacon on out on the grill. And what I've got going on over here is I'm dicing up a pear. Now, this makes the pear a little bit more savory, and it just kind of softens it a little teeny bit. Just gives it that little element of what is that deliciousness. So I'm gonna cube my pear up, and we're just gonna gently saute it in that bacon grease just for a couple minutes. And then this is gonna go on our baguette that we put the blue cheese on, and we're gonna top it with a little bit of bacon and arugula. So this is a really delicious little nibble that's gonna go on our entertaining board for this evening. I would normally do a couple of pears, but because we're doing smaller portions, we're doing 6 different bruschettas tonight. One pear is gonna be absolutely a perfect amount. So here we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and dice this up real quick. The bacon grease is warm. I can hear it. Smells delicious. Okay, let's go ahead and put this pear in our pan. Gonna toss it around just for a minute or two, just to soften it up a little bit. And this is gonna get bacon crumbled in it, and it's gonna top the blue cheese baguette with a little bit of arugula. It's an amazing winner little happy nibble appetizer dinner. Okay, some of these are a little big, so I'm gonna just jump in there and chop them up a little smaller. Our baguettes aren't real big, so I don't want a real big bite with this. Okay, that's gonna be good. All right, friends, this is gonna simmer for about, 3 minutes or so. I'm gonna turn it off the heat. I'm just gonna let it sit here and rock and roll until we're ready to put this whole beautiful bruschetta board together. Our pears have been simmering in the bacon grease for about 3 minutes. They're nice and tender. I don't want to overcook them because I don't want them to be mushy. So this is the beautiful bacon that I cooked on the grill on a cookie sheet, covered with aluminum foil. And I'm gonna go ahead and just chop the bacon up, and I'm gonna add it right into my sauteed pears. And this is gonna go on our delicious blue cheese arugula bruschetta. I think that's a perfect little dice there. Put that in the pan. We give this a little toss. Yum! Pears and bacon for the win. Look at that. Perfect. All right, guys, we're gonna be assembling this thing in just a few minutes. Yay! So we're just cooking along here for our party, you guys. This little dish for our bruschetta board is the sauteed mushrooms. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking a damp cloth and I'm just cleaning off the mushrooms. This container of mushrooms was really clean, so that was a win. You don't want to run your mushrooms underwater. And then I also just want to cut the stems off. I just want the caps. I don't want the stems in this dish necessarily. Because our little toast, our little pieces of baguette are not very big, and I just want beautiful slices of the mushroom, okay? So that's what we have going here, and I have my pan on a medium-low, and I'm gonna go ahead and add a little pat of butter, about 1 tablespoon of butter into the pan, and then we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil, and then we're gonna saute these beauties in a little bit of olive oil and butter. I like to add the butter to it because it adds that salty component to it that I really enjoy. And like, you know, when you go to a restaurant and you get those really succulent, delicious sauteed mushrooms and they have that little buttery essence to them, that's what we want for this, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and slice these up pretty fine. They're gonna cook really quick. That's what I have there, okay? So clean them. Take the stems off of them, slice them up, and these are going to go on the baguette with a little bit of Swiss cheese. So these are going to be a mushroom and Swiss bruschetta on our board for our party. I love these kind of parties. I love this kind of entertaining where it's just interactive and everybody has a little nibble. You're going to try, you know, we're doing 6 different types of bruschetta today. And that just makes it so fun. You know, by the time you eat one of each, you're pretty full. You know, and for those that just really enjoyed something, go back, you know, and get as many as you'd want. I always plan on at least 2 to 3 pieces of each bruschetta per person. That's just kind of my rule of thumb. And you know what? Usually by the end of the evening, if we're playing games or we've got, you know, some board games going or something like that, there typically isn't a lot of food left because people always want to nibble, you know, towards the end of the evening too. And that's what makes these kind of dinner parties really fun. My butter's melted, my olive oil's melted. I'm gonna go ahead and put our mushrooms in. I had a runaway. I had a straggler there. He's got to get back in the pan, but the rest of them get nice and happy here. Okay, I have a little kosher salt here, and I actually do have a few cloves of garlic. So in a couple of minutes, once these start sauteing and start rendering down a little bit, then I'm gonna add my garlic to them. I'm gonna turn this up just a scotch. I'm gonna just give them just a little sprinkle of this kosher salt. The Swiss cheese is a little salty, and the butter's a little bit salty, so I don't want to overpower the mushrooms with too much salt. So these little beauties are going to render down. It's going to take probably a good 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to we'll put the garlic in, the fresh garlic in, about the halfway point, just so we can cook the raw garlic taste out of it. But I don't want to overdo it with the garlic. So we're just going to let these guys rock and roll here for a little bit. And that's one more step to our bruschetta party. Check, it's done. Okay, our mushrooms have cooked down. They're about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through. So I'm going to go ahead and at this point, I'm going to add a couple cloves of garlic. Another extra bit of flavor to these beauties. These are small cloves. I don't want to overpower it, but I definitely do want that beautiful garlic flavor with the mushrooms on that Swiss cheese, on the toasted baguette. Oh, yum, 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 yum. And the mushrooms, you guys, they shrink up. You know, you see what I'm doing here. My pan was full, now they're shrinking down, and that's okay because, like I said, you know, we're gonna have 6 different types of baguette on our platter tonight, so this is gonna be a perfect amount for what I have going on. I'm just gonna let them simmer down for probably 2 or 3 more minutes, and then this little side dish is done. One more portion of our bruschetta bar. Yes, it's coming along quickly, you guys. Super easy. Each component on their own are really super easy, so that makes it really fun. So when you break it down into 6 easy little components, it brings the whole party together really quickly and really kind of, it's not that difficult. It seems like a lot, but I promise it's really not. Smells amazing. Mushrooms, garlic, yum. I am gonna steal one. I gotta taste it and see if we've got it right. I think we do. Okay, these are done. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off. The residual heat from the pan is gonna keep cooking them a little bit, so that's okay. I'm gonna taste this one and see what we've got here. Oh. Fantastic. I can't wait to serve these later. I'm so excited. I can't wait to eat them later. All right, guys, we're gonna be moving on to the next little portion.